Guys, deluded, I'm back again. YouTube's Lucas Torreira, YouTube's N'Golo Kante, the best YouTuber at this. So yeah, let's crack on. I know I haven't been exactly away from YouTube, but I know I haven't really talked about transfers in regards to Arsenal. We know there's no incomings, but there's still outgoings, because for those who don't know, the window in regards to English clubs, the loan market for Championship clubs and below is still open, so they can still get players. But in regards to incomings, unless it's a free agent or a thing like that, they can't sign for us, so we can't bring in a winger that we believe we need, and possibly another centre half, and all of these sort of things can't be done in it. But the window's still open for European clubs, and for Arsenal, we need to get some outgoings. I don't even know how to quantify this. Players that you'd say are squad players or wouldn't last long at Arsenal but are given new contracts. We take forever to get players off the books. When they are off the books, it's for peanuts. But I don't need to get into all of that. We might as well speak about three players in particular who are linked with moves away. In Ospina, J.Campbell, and finally Bielik. I'll do Bielik last because he's only departing on loan, I'd like to think. But Ospina, now, there's a bit of confusion as for Ospina. Allegedly, his contract finishes in 2019, which I don't believe. And allegedly, he signed a new deal last year or the year before, so his contract finishes in 2020. And that highlights something that's wrong at this club, continuously giving new deals to people who don't deserve it. Ospina, for whatever you say, he arrived as... At the time, we probably needed him as second choice, but he hasn't convinced. He's had his moments where he might have played well, but he hasn't convinced. And he is someone we're looking to move on. He said that he's actually looking for a new challenge and things because he wants to be number one. He's too old to... not be... no, there is no guarantees, but he's kind of too old and in his prime, and his country's number one to want to be number two, or you might not even be number two on the basis that Leno and Czech, it seems that they're in the immediate thinking. Obviously, Emery said he's allowed to leave, and he's been sorting out his future. Allegedly, while it's not finished, allegedly he's going to complete a move to Napoli. Now, hopefully it's a permanent, but strong reports, and Di Marzio said that it's a loan with an option to buy. And I don't know what to make of that, because on one hand, it's poor business from Arsenal. I mean, it's good for Ospina. He goes to Napoli. Obviously, they bottled the league last year, but consider no disrespect to Besiktas, that's another big club in its own right. But he was linked with a lot of Turkish sides and sides in France and stuff. And to get a move to Napoli with the die-hard fans that they have, and obviously they almost won the league last year. Obviously, you've seen some departures, specifically their management. He could have got a worse move. So yeah, and Italy's a good country and all of them sort of things. So it's a very good move for him. And ultimately he's experienced another way of life, another culture and things, which when he looks back in his career is a madness. For Napoli, it's good business. I mean, if I'm a Napoli fan, I'd be a bit worried about Ospina. I don't think he convinces me, generally speaking. But Napoli know their club more than me and their needs. So I don't know if he's going to be their first or second choice. I'd assume it's his first choice. They've got him on loan, so if he does play poor with an option to buy, I believe, if he does play poor, they can move him on. For Arsenal, it's poor business. We know allegedly, I'll probably make a vid specifying this, but you've seen a lot of reports how we already know there's austerity measures at Arsenal and how we need to get people off the books before we could possibly buy. He's technically not off the books. If Napoli say, boom, we don't want him, you're going to be paying his wages for another year, at least another year, assuming when he comes back, it will be the 2019-2020 season, wouldn't it? Yeah, it would be. And his contract's up in 2020, so he could afford to just ride the last 6 months or a year of his contract at Arsenal if he doesn't care about playing necessarily, and obviously get paid. So it's poor business from Arsenal. Obviously, if he's gone on loan there, Napoli are going to pay his wages. There's obviously a loan fee paid to Arsenal, and like I said, there's an option of a permanent. But it's underwhelming. If that's Spurs, Chelsea, City, Liverpool, then they outright sell him. They outright sell him. And again, nothing's confirmed. He was actually at Arsenal's training ground today training. Allegedly, talks have started. He'll fly over on Thursday, obviously to complete his medical. If it all goes to plan, you might see some confirmation on Thursday, tomorrow, or you might probably see a presentation and them things there on Friday. Now, Napoli have been linked with Mignolet. Now, between Ospina and Mignolet, I'd probably prefer Ospina, but it's like asking if you want to burn to death or freeze to death. They're both pretty horrific keepers. No disrespect to them. That's just my opinion. So we'll see how that one develops. But ultimately, it's at least for a year that we're getting a loan fee. Guys are coming off the contracts. I actually hope we're getting him off the wages because we don't have to pay this year's contract. Hopefully he does all right because it's in our interest for him to do all right so he can be moved on. But why would you loan him out? It should be permanent or nothing. So I'm at the point I'm not getting angry at Arsenal in regards to the stuff they do. A lot of things are bewildering, so we'll just let it continue. But in Brighton news, I mean, in fact, not even Brighton news, before we go on to that, and I mean, Martinez must feel like he can have a career at Arsenal. Probably not second choice or third or first choice, but considering that Unai Emery, I don't know if it's because, I mean, you've always accepted third choice things, but he clearly has you in the pecking order ahead of Ospina, allegedly, just on the basis you haven't gone on loan or you haven't departed permanently, and you're there in the mix with the keepers. So we'll see how Ospina's one's developed. On to Bielik. Now, he's been linked with Middlesbrough in the last 24 hours and he's been linked with Charlton. They'll both be good moves for him because he does need to get football. You see my video specifying my thing about Bielik many a times, and you've seen the latest one, I believe, a couple of days or so ago. So I'm not going to get into it again, but obviously he arrived as a 16, 17-year-old in 2015. He hasn't really made any appearances. It hasn't kicked. No one thought he was going to be a world beater, but you thought he'd be in that. You'd actually have thought from 2015, if someone said to you in 2018, 2019, would he be in the first team at some capacity? You would have thought so. And it hasn't happened. He's been very unlucky with injuries. He actually scored for Arsenal against Manchester City's under-23s, where scouts were allegedly watching the game. He's 20, turning 21 in January, so he needs to play football. He can't afford to be still in the under-23s, possibly hoping for FA Cup and Carling Cup action if it comes. He's not at that stage anymore. And even that is wishful thinking, because you're looking at him and Ben Chafe, who will probably depart on loan as well. There's Socrates, Mustafi, Holding on paper. Monreal can still play there. You can make a case for staying in the side and waiting your chance, but games are probably not going to come. So he needs to go on loan. Charlton have had Coquelin. I mean, if he comes back like how Coquelin did, he'll have a career here. Obviously, they've had Mavididi, so it's a good loan. I mean, my driving instructor used to be from Charlton. I mean, a Charlton fan. And I can tell you, their fans are very passionate. They'll get behind young players. I've told you guys before, Charlton actually have one of the best academies outside of the top leagues. They've got a very good academy, and people always being sold on it. Unfortunately, we got Jenkinson, Liverpool got Joe Gomez. So again, I don't know if first team matters, but if it's as transparent as that and the emphasis on youth and like you've seen with Konza and them sort of man there, then Bielik's in safe hands at Charlton, and I believe he needs to kind of be given assurances, because his first loan spell at Birmingham was very good, but he needs to be given assurances at Charlton in the sense that this is the club for him. No assurances in terms of playing time. Obviously, we want him to play, but you can't really expect a parent club to just play someone to develop a player for Arsenal. They've got things that they want to do, but knowing he gets a chance and things like that, he's at that stage now where it needs to go right. He needs to turn back and say, I've played 20, 30 games next season. Well, it'll be the last season if he comes back in May or whatever. You get what I mean? And a bit confusing there. This season, he needs to be able to look back and say, I've played 20, 30-ish sort of games under his belt. Because I believe the talent's there, but the consistency's not there because he hasn't been given a chance. If I remember when he has been brought through in pre-season for Arsenal against Lens, his concentrations let him down. His concentrations let him down many times. But he's a good centre-half, in my opinion. He can play in midfield as well. I would have thought Unai Emery might have kept him around for that very reason. But between Middlesbrough and Charlton, he looks like he was going to either one, and we'll see how that one develops, people. Good luck to him. And J.Campbell, been here for 7 years. He was here. He's still an Arsenal player at this World Cup. Probably had a better World Cup in 2014. It is sad because if you look at his loan spells, I mean, nowhere around it. Sporting and all the other clubs, he's underwhelmed. He hasn't done anything. He's been on the bench. He's done nothing of note. But for years, especially when J.Campbell finally got a chance and he was playing all right, it typified something that's wrong at Arsenal in the sense that that around that period when he was there, when he scored against Swansea or whatever, you did think Arsenal were allowing people to stay in the side that didn't deserve it, and not people that deserve a place in the side or a chance, especially when they get that rare chance, not allow them to keep it. It was clear Wenger never really rated him and just was forced to use him of sorts. Unai Emery's got no time for that. I mean, he was at first team. He's been at first team training and stuff like that. And he's actually had his picture taken. But he knows his career is elsewhere. He needs to play football. He needs a permanent home. He's not 18 at Chelsea, part of their loan academy. He's around 25 to 27 now, just as a random guess. He needs to find a permanent home. So I didn't even mention he's allegedly linked with Crotone of Italy. That's a decent move for him. They more or less just got promoted last season. You'd assume he's getting games. I'm not too sure if it's a loan spell or permanent. I'd like to think it's a permanent move. I'm not sure if they're going to uncovering his wages and all of these sort of things, all these technical things I don't really care for. But on the basis of him departing the club, then it's a good angle. He's probably going to... I actually think if it is a permanent one, it'll probably be 2.5 million or something, people. I'm never going to lie to you. It'll be peanuts like that. But just on the basis of wages, at least for a year, Ospina's wages are freed up or they're fully covered. J.Campbell's gone. A couple other Wilshere's obviously was on P's as well. It's been freed up. So we'll see what happens in that market. So in short, J.Campbell's been here for 7 years and it's done for him now. I mean, if we get him and Ospina off the books, it's decent business, whether you agree with it or not, just because we need to. A bit annoying that Ospina's not gone on as permanent as well for me personally, but Yeah, out of all of them, for obvious reasons, I'm keen to see how young Christian Bielik gets on. Did I call him Nico Bielik? I need to stop calling people the GTA character. But Christian Bielik, I really want him to put stamp his authority when he goes on loan and really make himself undeniable to Una Emre. Like, he'll be playing in Championship League One, wherever Charlton are, no disrespect to them, but put yourself in the window, make yourself undeniable, make sure the scouts that are checking your progress are raving back and saying, alright, you might need to recall him in January, Una Emre, because he's quite good. And if I was him, I'd lick my chances of a first team spot. Chambers went out on loan this year. If he did stay, there might have been a chance for games, but by the same token, like I said earlier, it is a risk. There's too many options. So personally, I think he probably, in the next 18 months, I think it would be wise for him to depart the club on a permanent basis. I love him. I think the club hold him in high regard. I think he can have a future here. But from a selfish point of view, if I was the player, I don't think he was given assurances, but you would have been forgiven for thinking 2015, I'm coming to Arsenal, they give young players chances, they'll give me chances. You've not really got any of that. And there's other homes you can find for yourself, to be honest with you. At this rate, he'll probably play for Poland before he actually asserts himself in Arsenal's team, to be fair. There's nothing more to say on this, man. Like I said, I haven't talked about transfers in a while, so I thought, let me talk about these three players' futures. In regards to the loan system, I like to think Chafe, Mavididi, couple others depart on loan before the window is closed, officially in the loan market or whenever it is. But yeah, man, guys, deluded, get in the comments, subscribe and do the rest. I'm out. Thanks for watching.